Good morning, Warren.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. It's Sean from the Rock Pit over in Perth in Western Australia. How's things?
Yeah, good, doing really good.
It's awesome to speak to you. Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
So much to talk about in so little time. First of all, congratulations on the recent singles. Um, but how incredible to have the original debut album out, re-released, remastered, out in only what, a few days' time. Why now? And what was the reason behind it?
Well, we actually remixed it. Jim Scott, who was a wonderful engineer and a good friend, remixed it. The idea came about with the 30th anniversary of that album, and I had always wanted to remix it. It's a good sounding recording and always was, but whenever I would listen to it, it would always remind me that it was recorded and mixed at a time that was still held over from the late 80s, early 90s, when records tended to sound a little more glossy, more reverb, more EQ and processing. And a couple of years later, people started going back to more organic sounding, drier sounding records. And I love that. And I always thought that this record would benefit from that sort of mix. So that's what we decided to do. So now it sounds more like I envisioned it to sound back then, even though I was happy with it at the time because it was a time and place. That's the way records sounded at that time. But I'm really glad that we went back and revisited it.
Well, it's an incredible body of work, and some of the songs are just fantastic. I believe it's two singles that have already been dropped, but the recent one, "I'll Be the One," what a fantastic track that is. The guitar work on that is just the hairs on the back of my neck just stand up from that.
Well, thank you so much. I love the way that one turned out.
It's brilliant. Well, Tales of Ordinary Madness. Very diverse collection of songs. There's a bit of everything, some wonderful funky vibes through some of the tracks, like Invisible, the bass lines and the keys. Obviously, it was a busy time for you as well, because obviously there was stuff with the Allman Brothers going on. Where did you get time to write these tracks back then?
Well, most of those songs were written prior to me joining the Allman Brothers. I don't know if I would say most of them, but I had sent a list of songs to Chuck Leavell and demos that was about 28 songs, and the two of us decided together which ones we would record. And the songs that we chose, we were trying to choose songs that made sense working together. As an example, one of the songs that we didn't record was Soul Shine, which went on to be one of my biggest songs. But at the time, we had made the decision for this record to have more of a rock edge to it. And even though there are songs like I'll Be the One and Angel City that lean a little more toward R&B, it just seemed like Soul Shine didn't really fit into the record. But I was writing a ton at that time in my life. And then when I joined the Allman Brothers in 1989, that process continued. So a lot of these songs were written 87, 88, 89, and then a lot of them were written 90, 91, 92 as well. And I, they say you only make your first album once. So I was just trying to choose stuff that made the most sense.
And of course, as you initially said, it was an album that you were pleased with straight off the bat, and it stood the test of time. The songs are timeless. They really, on this remastered version, they don't sound like they were songs from early 90s.
Yeah, that was my goal, is for it not to have a timestamp on it, because as much as I like the original versions, they sounded like they came from that time period. And now I think it has more of a timeless quality about it, or less of a timestamp on it.
something that's refreshing to see from those songs is that nowadays music seems to be crammed into 4 minutes just to keep the radio stations happy. But it's refreshing to see songs that are 7, 8 minutes long on this album. You can really get into those grooves.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of stretching out the songs. And then, of course, when I joined the Allman Brothers in 1989, that gave me even more of a reason because that's one of the things that they're famous for. And as a guitar player and as someone who loves improvising, it's important to me to express that side of myself as well. So I tried to make this record a kind of a blend of songs that were stretched out and songs that weren't. And, you know, more often than not, they probably were.
Was it easy to be so creative back then with so many things going on? Obviously, Gov't Mule then popping up soon after, a few years later. Was it easy to switch between the different projects you were on at the time?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it just felt natural. I've kind of always bounced back and forth between projects and worked with so many different musicians and kind of delved into a lot of different approaches and genres of music. That's just kind of always been something that appealed to me. And I always felt when I went to one thing, I gained new energy from that and obviously other influences. And then when I came back to what I was doing, there was a fresh outlook, you know, so I always looked at it in a positive light.
Is it still something you find easy, songwriting? Is it something you have to apply yourself to and shut yourself away in a room, or is it something just creatively and naturally happens day to day?
Well, it's never been easy. I remember Chris Christopherson was quoted as saying, "I'll do anything to keep from writing a song," because it's a challenge and it's nerve wracking, but it's so rewarding that it's definitely worth the effort. So to answer your question, I still find the inspiration and the joy to be the same. It gets harder and harder with every song you write because now you've written that one. So, you know, as most songwriters would agree, I think you don't want to keep exploring the same subjects and directions. And even from a musical standpoint, you want to try and have every song be a little different from the one before. So that part of it gets harder and harder, but it's a welcome challenge, you know.
Yeah. I noticed there's a bonus track on this reissue compared to the original. Where did that one come from, and why did you decide to pop an extra one on there?
Well, that's an interesting story. Tear Me Down, which wound up being recorded later by Gov't Mule for the Deep End sessions with Bootsy Collins playing bass. We recorded Tear Me Down during those sessions at Criteria in Miami, but we didn't finish it. And we were over budget and we were out of time. And so something had to go. So we just made the executive decision to not finish Tear Me Down. It wasn't too far from being finished, but it was going to take time that we didn't have. So other than a rough mix that wasn't complete, I haven't heard that song until I went back into the studio to mix these tracks. And it's a fantastic track. I always loved it. It's probably one of my favorites on the record. And it has Bernie Worrell playing keyboards and Randall Bramlett playing saxophone. So it made sense not only to include it on this record, but I included it in the sequence, not at the end. So I think it's like track 4, because I thought of it in a way of like, where would I have put it had it been on the original version, as opposed to just putting it at the end? Because I think Broken Promised Land has always been meant to be the final song of the record. That's the last thing I want people to hear. So I didn't want to have the bonus track come after that. So I sandwiched it, I think, between Movers and Shakers and I'll Be the One. And it provides a lot of diversity for the record, even more than before.
Yeah, there was a phrase in there that record labels, I'm sure, love to hear: over budget.
Yeah. Yeah. No matter what, it always seems to happen.
Well, fans can be really excited because there's a whole run of shows across the US in support of the album. And I see you've got the band, you've got Gov't Mule, there's solo shows, which sounds really unique. What's going to be happening in the solo shows?
Well, I've done a handful in the past, but I've never done an actual tour. So it'll just be me. Occasionally, maybe a friend will show up and join me for a few numbers, but acoustic interpretations and some electric interpretations as well. Anything that I feel like I can perform and deliver by myself is fair game. I have so much material to choose from between all of my projects, and then any cover that I feel like pulling out at any moment. So it's a lot of fun. I think the set list will be very different from night to night, and for me, it'll just be a chance to do this that is another side of what I do.
Well, you can tell by my accent, I'm originally from the UK, but based in Australia, and extremely jealous that there's a host of shows in the US. Any plans to take yourself or Gov't Mule back over abroad?
We'll see. No plans as of now, but I always enjoy when we do. So hopefully so.
I do too, because I was looking at dates. I think Byron Blade Blues Fest was 2011, and I think last time you were here was 2018. I think when you did a host of shows.
Yeah, and that's the only time that I went to like Sydney and Melbourne and stuff. Yeah, I really had a wonderful time and would love to come back, but it's quite an undertaking.
Yeah, we're a little bit far away down here. Warren, taking you right back, and I'm sure you've told these stories many a time, but where did it all start, and when was that time you sat up and realized you had a passion for music?
From the very beginning, I started singing when I was probably 8 or 9, and it was based on my love of soul music. James Brown, Four Tops, The Temptations, Stevie Wonder, Otis Redding, Wilson Pickett, Sam and Dave. That's the way I learned to sing, was just being in my room by myself trying to sing along with those records. And then my oldest brother brought home Sly and the Family Stone, and that kind of lit a spark that led to Jimi Hendrix and Cream and Johnny Winter and all that sort of stuff, and Jeff Beck, eventually the Allman Brothers. So once I got smitten by the guitar thing, I told my dad I wanted a guitar and rock and roll, and then blues and jazz and everything. It just kind of all was a exploration. I was so passionate about it. But I would say somewhere around 14, which was coincidentally the first time I ever played in a bar, in a club, I thought, yeah, this is what I really want to do. There was something euphoric about playing in front of a live audience. It was different than anything I had ever experienced before. And it's infectious and addictive in a very positive way.
Incredible. And of course, it's got you to work with some incredible artists, and one that stuck out for me, William Shatner. I mean, that's every boyhood's dream who watched Star Trek.
Yeah, that was an interesting experience. I got contacted through my management to want to know if I wanted to play on William Shatner's record. And at first I was taken aback by it. But then they showed me the list of all these great guitar players that were going to be on the record. And I was like, oh, I would love to be part of that. And he was very self-deprecating. He wrote me an email at the end of the project saying, "Thanks for stooping to this level," or something to that regard, but it was quite an experience, and one for the resume for sure.
Fantastic. Well, I know we've only got a few minutes left. If I could ask you a couple of general questions, it would be wonderful to wrap up with.
Sure.
My restaurant question: if you could invite 3 musicians, dead or alive, to join you for dinner just for one evening, who would you have sat with you?
Jimi Hendrix, Miles Davis, and John Prine.
Cool. Great table. We get sucked into a world of playlists now and a day, but what was the last album you listened to?
Last album I listened to, probably Close to the Edge by Yes.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's cool.
Yes, sometimes when I'm driving, I'm a big fan of Yes, going back to my teenage years, and I can go years without hearing that music sometimes, but whenever I hear it, especially if I have time to listen to the complete records, it's just fantastic and a great mood adjustment,
Well, I can confidently say the last album I listened to was Tales of Ordinary Madness, as I had it on repeat last night all evening. It was fantastic.
Well, thank you.
Very final question. I've saved the easiest for last. If you could be credited with writing any song ever written, what song would you choose?
Any song. Wow, that's a tough one. I know that Comfortably Numb is one of my faves, from an overall aesthetic point of view, but I could pick 100 Bob Dylan songs. I could pick 25 John Prine songs. Let's go with Comfortably Numb.
What a wonderful song. In fact, I've been having YouTube on while I've been working, and I keep getting flicked over to a Dave Gilmour songwriting session where he's in with a huge band just doing some studio work, and it's incredible to see some of that talent on show. Fantastic.
Yeah, I never really thought of Pink Floyd as being one of my all-time top favorites. I always loved them and thought they were fantastic, but there were a lot of bands that I listened to more than I listened to Pink Floyd. But some of those songs are just so outstanding, and that there's no denying it. Even a song like that, which was such a huge hit. I usually don't love songs that are that radio friendly. Not that it's radio friendly, but it was a huge hit. But it's just a magnificently written song.
Oh, brilliant. Well, Million Voices Whispers was out in 2004. Is there anything in the pipeline for new releases after you've done your tour this year?
Say it again. I lost you for a second.
A Million Voices Whispers was out in 2024. Is there any plans for new music?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what that's going to be, because I would love to make a record with Kevin Scott and Gov't Mule. Kevin's the new bass player in Gov't Mule now. But he's also the bass player in my solo band, which is fantastic. I don't know as of yet what it's going to be. One of the things on the list that hasn't been done yet is a record of instrumental music. That I've been saying for years that at some point I would like to do a record of instrumental, kind of jazz influenced music. On the list also for a long time was a blues record, and we finally made that when we did Heavy Load Blues with Gov't Mule. So I'm really thinking mostly about what I haven't done yet. I also want to make a follow-up to Ashes and Dust, which was my kind of singer-songwriter record that came out a few years ago. And there are a few tracks left over from those sessions that I absolutely love, and some that haven't been recorded. So I'm not sure what it's going to be next, but I'm definitely thinking in that direction.
Well, it's wonderful that your fans have got something to look forward to. And of course, all the dates that will be out on the road in the States will get up on this interview as well. Warren, it's been fantastic to talk to you. I really, really am honored to have a chat with you. Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. Nice to talk to you.
All the best. Take care. Stay safe.